Welcome to AfriPlus News Channel. Today's breaking development from Tanzania has left the entire African political landscape in shock. President Samia Suluhu Hassan, once celebrated as a symbol of progressive female leadership, is now being called a female dictator by her own people. On this election day, October 29, 2025, Tanzanian youth have taken to the streets, rejecting what they call a sham election. The nation is boiling with anger and resistance, and the situation may be spiraling into something bigger than anyone anticipated. Stay with us as we unpack the truth behind this unfolding drama, the silent message from the military, and what this means for democracy in East Africa. Before we continue, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to AfriPlus News Channel for more timely and in-depth analyses like this one. Reports from multiple regions across Tanzania show empty polling stations, a rare sight on election day. The youth who once placed their hope in President Samia's leadership have chosen protest over participation. Many of them are chanting, "No election without freedom," accusing her of jailing every real opponent and silencing dissent. If the youth, the heart and future of the nation, are rejecting the electoral process, what does that say about the level of public trust in leadership?
Heavy protest and revolution is about to start in Tanzania here in Africa. Also, like it is currently happening in Cameroon and in Ivory Coast right away. Guys, let me tell you what is happening in Africa right now. Do you know there is nothing like democracy in Africa? You see what is happening in Cameroon, also in Ivory Coast. Right now, today being 29th of October 2025, Tanzania is currently on fire. They are holding the presidential election right now as we are speaking. Protest heavy war started yesterday because this lady, the current president of Tanzania, blocked all her challengers, all the opposition leaders that could challenge her in this presidential election. She blocked almost all of them, even arrested some. What is happening in Tanzania right now? And today we are hearing that internet has been shut down in Tanzania as they are holding their presidential election today. You saw what happened in Cameroon. Paul Biya, the 92-year-old man that have already ruled for 43 years straight, won the election. Even in Ivory Coast, Alassane Ouattara that started ruling Ivory Coast 2010 won the election again. He stopped all the opposition leaders, the challengers. He blocked all of them, arrested many of them. Now, the youths, the citizens had no other option than to vote for him. The same thing, the same game they are playing in Tanzania right now. The same thing is also happening in Uganda. Museveni, that have ruled for 30-something years, he wants to rule again. He wants to contest for another presidential election in Uganda. And this kind of game they are playing all over Africa. Now, have you ever heard or seen Western leaders, this Western organization, condemning all these kind of leaders here in Africa? Now, compare this so-called democracy here in Africa to this military regime, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Compare them. Which one do you choose? Now, many of us here in Africa are still deceiving ourselves that we are practicing democracy. Now, tell me, is this democracy? Let's tell ourselves the truth. This is literally military regime. Even Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger own way better than this so-called democracy here in Africa. What is happening in Tanzania right now as we are speaking? Internet shut down. Cameroon revolution is still happening in Cameroon right now. I even heard that some youth had already carried gun. They are shooting in Cameroon right now against the police because military, they are indirectly supporting the youth right now because they refuse to shoot at the protestants, but the police against the protests right now in Cameroon, which some youths have already carried gun. They are fighting against the police. Dictators all over Africa, Western leaders are not saying anything. Western organizations are not saying anything. But you can hear them talk against Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Because these people, they are doing something to better the lives of their citizens. Western leaders, they don't like leaders here in Africa that will do everything possible to better the lives of their citizens. But you see all these dictators that are supporting them to suffer the citizens more.
Has Tanzania's democracy reached a breaking point where people believe silence is no longer an option? On the streets of Dar es Salaam, Dodoma, and Arusha, protesters are marching with remarkable unity. Unlike past demonstrations that were brutally dispersed, this time, something is different. The police and military are not attacking the people. Videos circulating online show officers standing by calmly as protesters chant for change. Could this silent support from security forces be a powerful message to the government that even the uniformed men and women are tired of being instruments of political control? Or could it signal the beginning of a deeper shift in Tanzania's political power balance? Observers are calling today's development the most significant act of civil disobedience in Tanzania's modern history. President Samia Suluhu Hassan, who rose to power after the death of John Magufuli, was initially seen as a voice of reconciliation. But over the years, her administration has been accused of cracking down on opposition leaders, journalists, and activists. With 4 major opponents reportedly jailed and silenced, many argue that this election is nothing more than a formality, a contest against herself. Can an election truly be called democratic when the people have no real choice? And if the ballot no longer represents the people's will, what other path remains for change? The silence of regional bodies like the East African Community and the African Union is raising serious questions. When nations like Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger are being reshaped by public revolts against failed leadership, could Tanzania be joining a similar wave of political awakening? And how long can the international community ignore the cries of a nation where democracy is slowly being suffocated? The growing support of the security forces for protesters might be a signal that even within the government's own structure, loyalty is fading. Could this be a warning of potential instability or a signal for a peaceful transition? Social media is playing a major role in amplifying the voices of the youth. Hashtags demanding accountability and freedom are trending globally. Despite government attempts to restrict online speech, Tanzanians are using every available platform to speak truth to power. The people seem to be saying that Tanzania no longer belongs to one person, that leadership must once again reflect the collective will of its citizens. But the critical question remains, will this uprising lead to reform, or will it provoke an even harsher crackdown from those desperate to cling to control? The world is watching closely. Tanzania's current tension reflects a much larger African reality, where citizens are rising to challenge leaders who have overstayed their welcome, manipulated constitutions, or silenced their critics. Is this wave of defiance the beginning of a new political era across Africa, where citizens demand leaders who serve, not rule? Or will old systems of power continue to suppress genuine change under the guise of stability and order? What we are witnessing today in Tanzania is more than just an election boycott. It is a powerful statement from a generation refusing to accept politics as usual. Whether this movement brings transformation or turmoil depends on how the government responds in the coming days. The world must not look away, because Tanzania's struggle speaks to the broader African question. Can democracy truly survive without justice, freedom, and accountability? We invite you to share your thoughts in the comment section below, but please keep them respectful and focused on constructive dialogue. What do you think this means for Tanzania's future and the future of African democracy? Could this be the spark that inspires other nations to demand true leadership? If you found this analysis insightful, kindly support us by joining our channel membership or sending us a super thanks. Your support helps us continue to bring you fearless, fact-based, and professional reporting on the most important issues shaping our world. AfriPlus News Channel does not promote violence or hate. This analysis is based on publicly available reports and aims to inform and encourage open, respectful discussion. All perspectives are welcome, provided they adhere to YouTube's community standards and guidelines.